everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have the pleasure to be here with Luisa Deason, and her company is Deason Consulting Services, and she does credit restoration, not credit repair. She's going to explain to you the reason, what's the difference, but we're also going to talk about anything about credit, all the questions that you have, everybody has, and ask me about credit and what you should do, what you should not do, and then she's here for you. So she's gonna introduce herself to you and give you all the information that you need if you need to contact her directly. And I'll also make sure to put the link of her company and her information at the end of this video. Coucou, Luisa.
You're amazing, Danielle. Thank you so much for the invitation. Listen, I love, love, love to talk about credit because people get in trouble all the time. Let me tell you, the worst thing that can happen is that you listen to somebody who's not a professional credit restoration specialist, and or you rely on somebody who said, well, so-and-so fixed my credit years ago, and this is what happened to me. Let me just begin by saying that credit is the most complex and the most complicated thing, yet it is a vital sign in this country. We do not do credit repair. There's nothing wrong with most repair companies, but the licenses and the certifications that our attorneys and our credit restoration specialists carry allow us to be one of the few companies in the country that is authorized to legally dispute all negative, derogatory, egregious, and non-accurate items off of all three credit reports, meaning Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, simultaneously. So we don't do this, bind you into a contract and then only target one item out of one credit bureau and then fight that one item off, that one credit bureau, that 1 month. Because if you come to me with 40 or 50 items, that's going to take 10 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
What we do is, based on the licenses and certifications that our nonprofit organization, who we are partnered with, does, allows them to dispute all those negative items at the same time. I have clients that have come to me with 47 items, and within an 8 or 9 month process, they're done. And or they've been with me for a little over a year and we've disputed over 90 items. I have countless and countless examples of that. So it does make a difference. And of course, we will never bind our customers into a contract. Because we're aligned with the nonprofit part of this, we're big on the education, Danielle. I'm not just going to give you the fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish so that you can eat every day. Yeah. And so what we teach you and what we show you and why we do things the way we do is because I don't want you back as a client. I want to do it, get it done right, permanently remove those and resolve those issues so that you start out on a clean slate. And by teaching you why we did the things we did, hopefully you'll never come back to me. Or you'll at the very least know exactly what you've done wrong and how to correct it.
Okay, great. So just as everybody know, you can pretty much purchase a home if your credit is too low, right? Because that's what America is all about. So could you tell me some of the things that can maybe prevent somebody to have their credit to go up, or some of the most mistakes that people make with their credit?
I think most mistakes that people make is either they don't have enough credit lines. If they're starting out, we always suggest a secure bank card. We offer that. It is a MasterCard premium card. It starts out with putting your own money down as sort of collateral or down payment, so to speak, onto a card. And we can start out with $250 and it goes up to about $2,000. And what we train people on how to do it when they're getting into purchasing that kind of a card that's separate and apart from our flagship service, which is the credit restoration. It's important to understand that we want to keep the balance between 30% of whatever money you put down. And then eventually, if you behave on that, that'll turn into a valid credit card. But new credit only amounts to about 10% of your score calculation. So it's important not to go out and get 20 cards. You just need 2. Your lender needs to see 2.
Okay.
The other thing that we do is, I think the most important thing that people must understand is try your very, very best to not make a late payment on a bill.
Okay.
The moment it's reported as late and it's reported onto your credit bureaus, it is more difficult to remove than an actual bankruptcy that's been discharged. And it can take months, if not years.
So it's any type of bill, like even your water bill can affect you?
Oh yes, because those are the kinds of bills that will normally check your credit. right? So
Yeah.
what people don't understand is that a late payment can drag your score down up to about 110 points. And
Oh,
I know my
wow.
business so well that when a client calls me and says, my score dropped 110 points, what happened? And I said, what'd you pay late? That is probably the hardest thing to remove than anything else on your credit reports.
Okay.
Now, what we focus on are things like bankruptcies that have been discharged, any kind of bankruptcy. We focus on foreclosures. Judgments are very difficult to remove. Usually that is a court issue. Once it's been mandated that you get served at your house on a bill that was outstanding and it turned into a collection, then that person gets upset or that company gets upset. A judgment then is a lawsuit. Those are hard to remove right away until the judgment has been resolved, the amount of debt has been paid in full, and it's been 2 years from that resolution of that payment. The other things we focus on are student loans, not dissolving the debt, but making sure that if there ever was any kind of deferment or any kind of a late payment made on that, those are what we focus on. And I think the difference is any kind of collection, specifically medical, people don't understand you're protected by certain laws, such as the HIPAA Act. Sometimes
Okay.
they can't come after you for certain things. There's an original document that can never be transferred over to a collections agency. It's a violation of the HIPAA Act. Charge-offs, of course, late payments and tax lien. So we pretty much do all of it, but it has to be specific. We don't do debt consolidation.
Okay.
Just because, and let me explain why. Just because you pick up the phone and you have extreme debt and you can't get out of it, number one, a lot of people will call us and say, well, do you recommend I file for bankruptcy? Never. That would be the last resort. But be careful who you solicit company-wise to ask for debt consolidation. Sometimes they'll spend 3 to 5 months in gathering all of your information for all your creditors. And the problem with that is they'll go 3 or 5 months without paying your bills. You're racking up
Oh,
all kinds of late payments. Now you're delinquent on everything. That is the worst scenario. So be careful. Ask a lot of questions. We offer in our flagship service 12 financial services to help our clients do all of that. So not just credit restoration, but identity theft. We teach
okay.
how to build positive credit. We offer things like a trust, will, and powers of attorney for both medical and financial. Those important documents can wreck the finances in a family. Most credit challenged individuals don't have those documents. We're going to
Okay.
teach you how to budget. We're going to teach you how to save money. We're going to teach you how to build that positive credit and the do's and don'ts. So there's a lot of things that we do that set us apart from everybody else in this industry.
Okay. And then, sometimes I have clients that come to me and they're like, okay, well, I would like to shop around. I'm going to pick one lender, but I would like to shop around to see which one can give me the best, interest rate or the best, not too much fees on my loan. So how many lender could someone shop around without affecting his credit too much?
Sometimes I tell people when they call me, I say, you can shop around, but don't go bonkers and start shopping around 30, 60, and 90 days. You don't
Yeah.
want all those hard inquiries on your reports. Those aren't easy to remove. Sometimes they don't know how to resolve themselves. But what I say is within a 30-day period, maybe you shop around 2 or 4. I would say
Okay.
those would be the numbers. But again, every lender is going to be different based on the fees. But for the most part, they're all looking at the same rates.
Okay. Okay, great. And then what's some of the don'ts somebody should not be doing when they're currently under contract and try to buy a home? The goal is not to affect your credit score. So what you should not be doing.
Don't go out and buy something big.
Okay.
I have helped countless individuals who say, my car is falling apart, and then they go out and buy a car. I'm like, you just added to your debt to income ratio. You can kiss that house goodbye.
Uh-huh.
They'll make a late payment and they're only 2 weeks out from, closing on that house. That's it. Your loan is done.
Okay.
There's other things like don't go out and buy furniture. We joke about this, but people actually go out and buy bed
I
mattresses and all
know.
these things. And you're like, and they finance it through, companies like the furniture stores and things like that. And you're like, they're pulling your credit. It is dropping your credit about 40 or 50 points. What happens in this industry is most people don't understand. And let me just give you a hypothetical example.
Okay.
Let's say you and I are buying a $200,000 house. We're going to fight over this house, but your credit score is 620 and mine is 720. There's
Mm-hmm.
a 100-point spread between those credits, right?
Yes.
You will pay almost $60,000 more over the long term in that 30-year loan than I will. Why? Because of the score you have. So most people don't understand. Sometimes lenders will tell you, you know, I just need you at a 580 or a 620 or whatever that looks like. No, we are not wanting you at 620. We want you at 720 or higher, because that saves you money on the premium you pay for auto and life insurance, health
True.
insurance, all
True.
kinds of things, like, you know, whether or not you put a deposit on electricity, on water, you know, all kinds of things. It depends on whether you get a 24% interest rate on the purchase of a car, or if it's 3%. You know, people don't realize that everything we do today is attached to your credit score.
Correct.
You must
Yeah.
have great credit in order to save yourself an average of anywhere, depending on what you make, anywhere from 200,000 to about $1 million in a lifetime.
Yes.
You
And
think bad credit is expensive and fixing that is expensive? Trust me, bad credit purchases are even more extensive.
So could you tell me what make up the numbers exactly? What the credit bureau are using in order for them to give you a number? Because I always see that, I say, I'm looking at those numbers, but I don't know really what make my
They're
number.
looking at revolving debt. They're looking whether or not you've ever had a loan. They're looking at whether or not you've been a responsible payer on the purchase of a car. If you have credit cards, do you keep them below 30%? You know, one of the things that I think is equally important is when you carry balances on credit cards, to just, it's not just about you rack it all the way up to the credit limit and you pay it off. You're going to flag that every single month you do that, although you're paying it off. What they recommend is that you keep it below 30% of the allotted credit line. To give you an
Okay.
example, I spoke to a dentist one day and he said, I'm sorry, I called you back 2 days later. I didn't realize that, you know, I got busy. Well, he closed his businesses, closed all of his credit cards down, and in 24 hours plummeted his score over 200 points. And he calls me and he goes, what happened? I said, you closed your credit cards. You've now erased all of your history, and you have nothing now. You have no way of proving that you've been responsible in paying your debt for the last 30 years.
So pretty much if you have a credit card and you pay it
Don't
up,
close it
don't
unless it's
don't
closed
close
on
it.
your behalf.
Yes, don't
Do
close it.
not
Just
call the credit company if you're maxing out your credit card every month and say, could you extend my credit line? That's a big no-no. It's different if you're behaving on that credit card and they offer that to you, but for you to call them and ask them for that extension, it's like you're buying yourself that time because you can't pay your card responsibly. Remember, in this
oh
industry, it's all about the risk. What is the risk factor? Where's
yeah.
your risk level? If you can't pay your bills on time, they're thinking, okay, this person is living outside of their means. And that's why it's such a high risk to be able to give you a good rate on any kind of a payment plan.
Okay. So the note to take right here is do not call your credit company to increase it. Let them offer you to increase it, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So
Don't
thank you
close
so
it.
much. Thank you so much, Luisa. I really learned a lot, and I hope everybody that's watching learned a lot. I'm sure everybody did. So if you have any more questions and you would like details um, about Luisa and her company and how she can help you reach your goal and make sure that you do have not a good credit, but an excellent credit, not just to buy a house, but for anything in life, because these credit affect us in anything, medical bills, set up whatever electricity bills you want to put in place.
Right.
It's very important to maintain it. And she can also help you how maybe you set yourself up for great, but also help you how you can help your children who are coming up and they will be adult, be ready for adult life. So if you have any more questions regarding credit, feel free to let me know or contact Luisa directly. Her information will be placed below. If you have any other question and you need help and any suggestion about anything you want to talk about, make sure to let me know. Subscribe to our channel and then we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.